How long have you been, Joe, as officially in your position as a foreman for the Kcxl Electric, and how long have you been in your position to say, I know what I'm going to be doing between now and Christmas and Thanksgiving?
Well, I started on this year will be my 16th year being a part of the lights. I didn't take the job over and become the foreman on it until about 2000. And I was totally take care of the project, but before I just helped hang them, and then the two guys that did it before them, Walter Koch and Ivan Hendrickson, those guys overseed it before us, and Ivan retired, I believe, in 2000. Walter retired in 96, but 2000 is when I took it over, and then Mike's been with me, and we just take care of it now ourselves and get people to come down there and help us put them up every year.
Your family, your parents, or your family, do they enjoy as much as you folks enjoy? Yeah, I know you guys. I'm glad it's up, but you enjoy it as much as the kids do.
Yeah, we do. It's just a neat tradition, just to see all the people down there looking at something that we do, and seeing all the families, and being electricians. A lot of what we do gets covered up in a wall or is hidden in an electrical room. But to be able to do something everybody can see is really neat.
What about your first year and everything else? Really going on is your mom and dad. I don't know if they were able to see it in any situation. Mom, Dad, this is what I do. Put up the lights. It's true they probably went into somewhere in your family by telling people that.
Yeah, they thought it was really neat when I told them. They couldn't believe it. But when I was first told I was going down there to work on it, being an electrician, I thought, wow, I got the easiest job in town. There's nothing to it. And I got down there and started working down there, and I was overwhelmed. I had no idea what was involved because I didn't know a lot about the lights besides seeing it on TV and hearing about it. And I got, the first week down there, I wasn't putting them up right. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just so overwhelming. I just couldn't stand it. I wanted to leave. I just hated it. And here, 16 years later, here I am. I learned to love the project, so it's been great.
Your mom and dad, do they live locally?
Yes. So they knew all about it and been around it their whole lives too.
So your first year taking over, did they enjoy the lights at that time? Did they go down with you, or?
Yeah, they did. They usually go down, or they'll watch it on TV. And they always like to watch it and see the newspaper articles or shows on the radio or TV.
And I imagine they as standing proudly as it could be with the lights going on, and I imagine they were talking to the people next to them and said, "That my son do that, my son do that, my son did that."
Right.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, Mike, what's your story about how long you've been with Kcxl and associated with the lighting situation?
Well, I've been involved on the lights since about 1990, off and on for, well, I've been actually on the lights for probably about 8 or 10 years. I haven't been there full-time like Joe has, but I started out down there as an apprentice, and with Walter and Ivan that he mentioned earlier, and I got moved to bigger projects that were coming up in town and worked on those, and when they needed help I'd bounce back in, and I've been with Joe down there now for the last 5-6 years or something like that, and just it's a thing to look forward to every year. I mean,
I can imagine that. That'd be the utmost of what I want to do the rest of my life. Woo! You got it, folks. I would like to be able to see every day is a Christmas for me anyway. When you reach my age, every day is Christmas. So they got the lights out here in our office. So the Christmas lights are on 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We have an enjoyment here. And Dave has to be the first one every year, the first radio station to play Christmas music.
That's great.
And what's that? How early in the year do you want to do that, there, David?
Well, if I had my way, we'd do it 365, 24/7.
24/7. He wants to play music. As you entered our show today, he hasn't played Christmas music. I'm going to play it, Bill. I'm going to play Christmas music 105 days. I don't blame him. I'm still a kid, and I'm still enjoying my granddaughter's come up to Grandpa and say, let's go see the lights, or let's drive around the different areas and see the lights.
Sure.
It never gets old. Christmas is here as we speak. 105 days with Thanksgiving, and we continue on. And then you guys, what are you doing that night? That actual night, and you're sweating it out to make sure that everything goes okay.
Sweating bullets,
you test them at all at one point?
Yeah, we do a lot of tests. We actually, the biggest test, we test them as we put them up through the whole season. When we get up buildings and blocks, and we're testing through the whole time we're installing them. But the biggest test is Tuesday night before Thanksgiving. We come in at 2 in the morning and turn the whole plaza on. It's on all night. That's our last final test for the last changing bulbs or circuits that aren't working, or just basically do a load test for several hours, and that's our final test.
That has actually become a tradition for a lot of people. They come down on the Tuesday night before to view the lights, and they don't have to fight the crowds that way. And we have a loyal following down there every year that's their traditional time to come down and see the lights before the crowd does. And
you do a countdown?
Tuesday night at 4 o'clock in the morning?
We do.
They come out at 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning?
Right.
Tuesday before Thanksgiving?
That's right.
So if you're not doing anything, folks, like dummies, you got a lot of people are dumb in bed at that time.
Yeah.
But
it's a good way to beat the crowd.
Get that out. How would you have a couple hundred people out there that night?
Oh, probably, yeah. And a lot of people taking pictures and driving around, and it's a good handful down there.
You kind of notice the traffic patterns after being down there for several years, and that next morning you see a lot of people going to work a little bit earlier to make an extra pass through the plaza and get an early viewing of the lights that way.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then Wednesday we take care of whatever we didn't get done Tuesday night, and then we work all that day. And then on Thanksgiving I usually come in around noon and we come in and start setting up the switch on the stage and wiring it in, the switch that nobody really thinks that works, that really does work. We wire that up and do a few more tests with the switch on the stage and get it working.
Let's talk about that switch, you might say. So I know a lot of people say, well, you got a switch, probably got 200 switches out there doing something to getting ready for you. You just click one switch is certainly not the true story, is it?
Right. It's that one switch is what sends power to about 75 lighting contactors that pulls in all the services.
No kidding. One switch does it all, really does it all, energizes the other places.
That's right. That's right. So everything all is hardwired together, and when that switch on the stage is closed, it turns all the lights on. And there's so many people that don't think that, and it really does. There's a whole lot of work involved to make that happen. And then that night, that switch is disconnected, and then we're tied to a time clock. The time clock takes care of it each night when they come on. They're on from 5 to 3 in the morning.
So at some point, that time clock, quote unquote, it becomes the computer.
Right.
You might say that turns everything on.
Right.
And so do you time it exactly on the stage that night? How do you coordinate it that night on the stage?
That night on the stage, the time clock's not a part of it at that time. It's just right on the switch, and whoever's brought down to turn them on, when they close it, it comes on. And then that night we change it.
There's no possibility of coming on earlier or later or something like that.
No.
Somebody has to actually
Somebody's got to close that or it won't come on.
That's a miss. Probably a lot of people didn't realize that, like you're shooting myself. But